brothers and the whiteys, blacks and the crackers.
What's going on, folks? This is your local random hero again. This is another video I'm shooting today on the 12th of January of 2010. Yeah, this is my little William Shatner. I was watching this video that a friend of mine posted up on Facebook, and it was actually kind of interesting. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like none but pretty little white kids, right? Yeah, I know I just sounded like a low budget Uncle Ruckus. Them one of those pretty little white children from the Boondocks, okay? But the study was, the lady sat back here and the teacher sat a thing up, right? She sat back here and venerated the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white kids over the other kids, right? And the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white kids, right, sat back here and acted differently and answered it differently compared to the brown-eyed kids and the brown-haired kids, you know. But this is back here and shows anybody taken from any situation. It don't matter. Just something small like that. Kids can be racist to a point, but that's not the thing I'm saying. Kids are racist. I'm saying if you sit back here and take out a certain element, right? In other words, racism. This is what this basically video is about. Why can't we treat one another equally? It just don't make no sense. You got to sit back here. You have these redneck hillbillies who's part of the KKK and all these other known societies, just like you sat back here and got these ex-Black Panther members, black Muslims, who sits back here and say, well, I can't stand white people. And you got the KKK sitting back here screaming, well, I can't stand black people. But it just don't matter, because we're all the same. Listen. We're all the same, okay? If I sit back here and say I cut my hand right here, right? And then I sit back here and get a white person to sit back here and cut his hand, right? We are sitting back here. They are the same. There's no difference in us. People need to realize, right? Just because a person is of Caucasian descent, they're no different, you know? I sit back and I think to myself, right? Why would you sit back here and say this person is different because of the context of his skin? We all learn the same, we all eat the same, we all sleep the same. You know, we all sit back here, and odd as it seems, right? We all sit back here and call each other niggas. And, you know, my best friend of 21 years, he'll sit back here and say, what's up, my nigga? And this is a white guy. I love him to death. That's my brother. He know who he is. But the catch-22 is, people need to stop sitting back here saying, well, if a black person gonna sit back here and call me that, I'm gonna knock him out. Well, if that's the case, right, you need to start knocking out everybody. You know, because everybody sits back here and say something derogatory towards everybody at some point in time, even if it's in a joking manner, right? Because, you know, it's just the way people play. But you got a lot of people who don't understand. We can play like it's like my other brother up in Idaho, right? He sits back here and he told me a lot of funny racist jokes. I can't get mad, right? But now people want to get mad when a white person tells a racist joke. But what about when a black person sits back here and does the same thing? Is that wrong? Well, what about if a Hispanic sits back here and tells another Hispanic a racist joke? Is that wrong? Well, what about if an Asian tells an Hispanic a racist joke? Is that wrong? None of that is wrong, but a lot of people just don't understand, right? That we need to sit back here and squash this racism kick, you know? It's just, racism comes in many different forms of fashion. But in order for us to overcome this, we need to really realize that racism is really self-hatred, because people just won't want to sit back here and be considered as being racist. You know, everybody's got a little racism in them, yes. But a lot of people, like I said, a lot of black people want to sit back here and cover that up saying, I'm not racist. Well, if you're not racist, get out your race. Well, no, I'm good. That's a sign of racism. You got a lot of white women who do that too. A lot of Asians, a lot of Caucasians, a lot of Native Americans. Right? For example, like I said, I know some women like that, but I look at them as being latent racists, not homosexuals. Hell, hey, people are sitting back here racist against homosexuals as well. But people don't. But myself, that's another video. I don't want to get into that because that sort of steers into the Bible, and I know that's going to offend a lot of people. But I'm saving that for a later date. But when it comes down to it, love one another. How can a person sit back and say they believe in God when they don't love one another? You know, racism is people hating somebody because of the color of their skin. Why are you going to sit back here and hate a man because of the color of his skin? If that's the case, you need to look in your mirror every day, sit back and say, I hate you. Right? Sit back here and say, and really, go and self-destroy yourself if you really hate somebody of another race. Because by you hating them, somebody's going to hate you. And really, think about it. Life is just too good for somebody to sit back here and hate somebody because of the color of their skin. My advice to all these black Muslims and these KKK members and anybody affiliated with a neo-Nazi fascism, grow up. You just wait. You can sit back here and say, well, this black person said this, and this black person is that, this white person is this white person is that. You give it a couple times. You give it some time, alright? Couple generations, right? Your sons and your daughters will be mixed in with the race that you hate. That's what. Just look at Hitler. They sat back in and said he was fifth Jewish. Alright? This is your local random hero, and this video was about the video I've seen earlier off my boys page and racism. Alright? God bless. Love y'all folks. Talk to y'all later.